This video is entitled Requirements Analysis Strategies and goes with Chapter 3 of our book in the Systems Analysis and Design course. I'm Dr. Renaud from Shawnee State University, and I'll be taking you through this video presentation. In the last video, we talked about ways to elicit to elicit requirements and to elicit all of the stuff we need to possibly do it. But why are we doing it? The first reason we're doing it is because we need to understand what the problems are. What problems exist with the old system? What problems exist? And when I mean old system, we may not have a computer system. It may be a paper system, or a ad hoc spreadsheet kind of system, or an old computer system that was developed by people long gone and we don't really even understand the system. But what problems exist with the as system? What problems exist? And how do we fix these problems? So we're going to be looking at the current system, and we're going to be looking at the problems with the system and how do we fix those problems. We're going to be asking users and managers. We're actually going to be asking everybody, all of the stakeholders of the system. Now, the problem analysis really usually gets at all of the little problems, but not at the great big ideas of where the system needs to go. It solves all these little problems we have with the system, but it doesn't find the big stuff. It's commonly used because it's easy, because we can just say, okay, here's the current system, what don't you like about it? What doesn't work? People always tell you what doesn't work and tell you how to fix it. Great, fine. But it finds little solutions. It finds the problems and it finds the little solutions. It doesn't find the causes, and it doesn't give us this big overarching kind of understanding of what's wrong with the system and where the future needs to go. Problem analysis. The next type of analysis is known as the root cause analysis. And with root cause analysis, we also start by focusing on the problems. What are the problems? We prioritize the problems, though, into the most important problems. And then we don't look for solutions. We look for the causes. What is the cause of the problem? We've got a problem with our inventory not being current. Okay, what's the problem? What's the cause? No, that's the problem. What's the cause? What are we not doing that needs to be done? Not the solution. I'm not worried about how we're going to do it yet. What is the big thing that needs to, what's the cause of it all? We need to look beyond symptoms. You know, imagine I walk into a doctor and say, Doc, I have a headache. Okay, he can give you a solution. Here's a tablet, take it. Here's a pill, take it. Okay. Or he can say, you've got a headache, why don't we just amputate your head? That way it doesn't hurt anymore. That'd solve the problem, wouldn't it? But is that really getting to the cause? Is that getting to the root of things? You know, if you go into a doctor, go into a good physician with a problem, the good physician is going to not only look at the problem, not only look at the symptoms of the problem. They're going to look at your whole system. They're going to think about this. They're going to think about your other diseases and conditions. They're going to look at your other medications. They're going to look at this. They're going to look at that. They're going to run some tests. They're going to do an analysis. And, you know, they may say, well, you know, the reason your head hurts is because blank. Maybe your glasses are not right and causing eye strain, which is causing the headache. New glasses? That's the problem? That's the solution? That's the cause? Whoa! I wouldn't have thought that would, you know. Yeah. Don't just amputate the head because the head hurts, like in a problem solution. Let's try to figure out what the cause of what the root cause is. This takes a lot of information from the previous, a lot of analysis, a lot of thought, and a lot of time. And a lot of people aren't willing to look at my car won't start. Okay, why won't your car start? You've got to do a root cause analysis. Could it be the battery? Could it be the electrical system? Could it be that you didn't put the key in the ignition? Could it? All kinds of reasons. So we need to figure out what the cause was before we can come up with a solution. There's another type of analysis besides problem and root cause, and it's called duration analysis, where we look at the time it takes to do something, and we find efficiencies in the time to do something. Maybe it takes us a week to do this process. Well, if we get rid of the fragmented systems, if we integrate this with this, if we move this data from here to here, and we can eliminate the reentry, or we can shorten this queue, and we can waiting list, and we can do this and this. We can, by looking at duration analysis, we can find efficiencies by eliminating some of those fragmented processes and systems, which is another, maybe that's a cause. The problem is it takes too long. Well, the cause is because of this, but that's called duration analysis, because we're looking at specific durations to get things done and looking for efficiencies in those durations. There's another type of analysis called activity-based analysis, or activity-based costing. And what we do is we look at a process, we look at an activity and break it up into its pieces, and we try to figure out what each of those pieces cost. And the cost is time, material, labor, what systems are needed, what equipment is needed, and all of those kinds of things. And then we sort them in the most costly to the least costly, and we try to analyze the most costly to get them to be less costly. So make the most expensive one more efficient, get big bang for our buck, and look at a process based upon its activities. So then we're looking at problems, we're looking at root causes, we're looking at durations, we're looking at activities. There's some other things we also need to be looking at. We also need to be analyzing the technology. And a technology analysis will often start with the new, with needed, with things we're interested in. Well, I'm thinking we might want to do this. I'm thinking we might want to do it using this new stuff, or we're thinking we want to move it to the cloud, or we're thinking we might want to make it web, or we might want to do mobile. And so those are the new, the needs, the interesting tech. And we've got to now do an analysis to see how it would work. Can we solve our root problems? Can we do our efficiencies? Can we reduce our costs through eliminating and making activities more efficient? Can we speed up our processes? Can we increase our communications? So a technology analysis with all of those others all wrapped together. We've got to be analyzing all of these at the same time. And then there's lastly, and nextly, the activity elimination analysis. So we've spent all this time looking at processes and coming up with solutions. We've been looking at root causes. We've been looking at durations and trying to compress durations. We've been looking at activities and trying to make the activities less expensive. We've been looking at technology, of how we can use tech to make it all work better. And are there things we can remove from the system? Are there activities that the old system made us do that we don't need to do anymore? Can our new to-be system automate certain activities or remove the processes and the steps? And that's important to know. How will it improve our lives, our business, our processes? One of the activity eliminations that I've seen in the last few years is data entry has moved from customer service or from the salesman all the way back to the customer. So if you want to place an order with Amazon, you don't call somebody, you don't contact a salesman, you don't enter your address, and you don't tell them your address and your telephone and what you want to order and your credit card number on the phone, and they enter it in the system. What we've done is we've moved that to the customer. I sit down in front of the web browser, I enter all that information myself. So they've eliminated the activity They don't even do it anymore. They don't have anybody that does that for you. If you want to do business with them, you enter it yourself. So they've eliminated that activity and brought it back to you. Few employees they don't have to hire. Now, do they still have customer service? Yes, because there are certain things, but how many of those customer service activities are now just online? Go in and look. You want to track your order? You don't need to call your salesman to track your order. Just go online and track your order yourself. Think of what it's done to make them more efficient. Think of what that's done to offload the work to you and not to them. They don't need employees to do that because their systems take care of it. So activity elimination is a big thing. Now, be careful when you're eliminating activities, because if you're eliminating jobs in your analysis, in your design, in your to-be system, are people going to be not so happy with you? So you've got to. It's a tough line to follow, but you can see where part of our job is to look for these activities that can be eliminated, automated, so that we can take those people and use them for other more important, more money-making adventures or tasks. This concludes video 3B. I appreciate you for watching. Remember, this video is copyright 2020 by James M. Renault, PhD. All rights are reserved. You can contact me at jrenault@shawnee.edu if you have any questions or issues. And what do you think of my self-portrait? It's about right, isn't it? Okay, have a great day.